Hello everyone, I am Sharpedo43 once again, and now we're going to be showcasing week 8 of the PAC League, and my opponent for it is actually going to be Scoots. I don't remember what team he was representing at the time. It might have been the Mississippi Morpekos, but I'm not too sure actually. But yeah, now this opponent is actually once again a familiar face. We've played it numerous times in Generation 7, and I believe this is our second time in Generation 8 actually, and he did beat us the first time we played in Generation 8, so we're kind of hoping to see if we can actually beat him this time. So that way we can, even out the score in Generation 8. But yeah, so just do keep in mind that I'm not gonna talk about the drafts because honestly, this was a match that took place months ago, and honestly, I don't really feel the need to do so anymore. But I do still want to talk about the match at hand. So yeah. So with all that said, let's get into the match. All right, so here we go. Land mode as always, as you can see. And it should also be noted that this was one of those matches that because of the land mode, we actually did have a hard time getting it started. So, yeah, but I think here it was obviously where we actually got it started. So, yeah, just entering the required numbers and whatnot. And now we just have to wait. That was another thing that I found very, very tedious about this match was also just that we had to freaking start the game over numerous times because we either had to wait for a long time here, or the game freezes midway through the battle, which is kind of whack, honestly. So we're kind of like hoping that this doesn't happen here, basically. But I think this was the match that actually was where I was able to make the match materialize entirely, obviously, as opposed to just partially, because like I said, it just kind of froze like in the middle of the game for some reason. So yeah, as you can see, that's his team right there. He has an Aroma Tea, so he has a what appears to be a Rotom Tea, a Landers Tea, and what was that other one? I think that's the Urshifu. I don't remember, but he had like a bunch of other crazy shit. So yeah, we're gonna play Scoots once again, and let's see what we can do against this fella. I believe he leads with, yeah, he's gonna lead with Registeel. I think I led with Skarmory, and it was here when I realized that I think it sucks that I actually had to remove what's it called, Body Press, because I actually initially had Body Press on this Skarmory during my preparations for this guy, but I decided to take it out last minute because I figured since the chest timer is very short, I don't think he'll have time to make this Registeel work. This would have worked if a 60-minute timer was actually applied, but in this game I feel like this guy would be most of the time, like he had a higher chance of losing because he would just be sitting around with this Registeel since these things can't do much, I feel. So, but that's why I didn't count on him bringing it, but he ended up bringing it, so that makes me removing Body Press something of a I guess, like, it basically ended up backfiring for me. Yeah, there we go. And so I decided to go for Whirlwind after setting up rocks because he was going to do that himself too. And then I just decided to, or he decided to actually go for the Seismic Toss, knowing that basically. I sent him out into this Landers Tea, which I can't do much to either, honestly. So I'm just going to go for a Whirlwind again, most likely. I usually do this when I realize that a match is like, or a matchup is undoable, like for Skarmory. Like if Skarmory can't do anything, then it's not in his interest to actually keep it around, so. I don't want to switch out, obviously, because Landers Tea is a Pokemon that you can't just switch into. In fact, Skarmory was like kind of just built for this Landers too, honestly. So, but since it can't do anything, then it's like there's no point in having it around either, honestly. It's just to wall hits from Landers if it's necessary. But unfortunately for me, I ended up bringing back the Registeel, which means this thing is probably gonna just spam Seismic Toss again. So I think somewhere around here I just decided to go for the Roost. I've played this guy a few times, like as I mentioned before, and I feel like this guy is usually very, very difficult to deal with. I'm honestly surprised I even beat him as many times as I have, honestly, because I think I've already beaten him like, what, 3 times, I think? He's beaten me once, though, here in Sword and Shield, though, which is kind of interesting. But here we go. I think here I wanted to switch out because I didn't want to just play around with this Whirlwinding game. So I end up switching into the Dragapult right here. I think he stayed in and tried going for another Seismic Toss, I think. It was either that or he just went for a Toxic, I don't remember. He goes for the Toxic. I think he predicted this, which was kind of annoying actually, because I was kind of hoping he'd expect me to either Roost again or Whirlwind again. And right as I decided to switch out, he ends up going for the Toxic, which is kind of crazy. I was kind of not counting on that. But it is what it is, obviously. So here, I believe I just go for the Flamethrower. I was thinking about it because I was thinking he might want to switch it out, expecting that. But I just decided to go for it anyway, since I don't want to risk it again. Or I should say, I don't want to risk it here. Because I don't think I've made many risky plays yet. I think I've just been playing it way too safe, if anything. So here, I get Flamethrower, and as you can see, this does kind of nothing, honestly. So, and he in return has Ice Punch, which it does a fair amount for a non-invested Registeel. Just thanks to the fact that it's X2 effective on Dragapult. So, and with the Toxic racking up, I can either do two things. I can either preserve this or just keep on attacking it just to do damage. I think I decided to send in Heracross here, just in case he wants to like do something else. Maybe even switching out expecting it another Flamethrower, and probably doesn't want this Registeel to be weakened. I send out Heracross. I do have to take Rocks, unfortunately, because my opponent has not defogged them away. I don't think I have a way to remove it, the hazards myself, so yeah. He ends up like switching out right here as I switch into Heracross, so this was something of a double switch right here. And he ends up going into this Aromatisse, so has leftovers. And I think here, I think I switch out just because I don't think I have the coverage for Aromatisse here. So I switched out, and even if I did have something to hit the Aromatisse with, I don't know if I can actually take it out in one hit, even if I'm Guts boosted. But anyways, I switch in Roserade here just because I was kind of curious if this thing had any coverage for Roserade. He just goes for the Moonblast straight up, so I decided I think I go for Sludge Bomb here. I don't remember what I went for with this Roserade. It might have either been a Sludge Bomb or maybe even Giga Drain expecting something else that can resist Sludge Bomb to come in. Oh no, I go for the Leech Seed. Okay, I do expect a switch still, but it's Leech Seed I go for, not Sludge Bomb. I think I went for that later. I don't remember though. Goes into Registeel, which is fine with me because this allows me to cripple this Registeel even more. Takes Rocks damage, and then after Leech Seed, Roserade will recover what it lost from the Stealth Rocks, and from there I think I don't remember if I stayed in. I might have actually stayed in, honestly. Just because this Registeel is already kind of weakened, so if he tries to go for another Seismic Toss, I might actually just be able to chip it down more. Because I think the only attacking move this Registeel... Oh, actually it has Ice Punch, no? Yeah, it has Ice Punch, so maybe I don't stay in. Oh no, I do stay in. I try to go for the Sleep Powder before it actually hits me with another Ice Punch, so that's kind of crazy. He does end up switching out those because he doesn't want that to be put asleep. He ends up going into the Rotom Heat, which I'm down with putting to sleep. If I can just... if only because that would give me the chance to possibly Sludge Bomb it to death. I do hit the Sleep Powder, which is good. Get Leftovers recovering, or Black Sludge in this case. I think here I take advantage and just go for a Sludge Bomb just to see how much it does to this thing. Also gives me an idea of whether or not this thing is Scarf. Shall he choose to stay? Because if it's Scarf, it'll outspeed me and it would naturally hit me with a Overheat if it were not asleep. But that's what I want to see if that can happen, basically. He doesn't end up letting me know. He ends up just hard switching immediately. Goes back in the Registeel. Probably should have expected this, honestly, but it's just that, I mean, I don't want to waste sleep turns on a Rotom Heat because that thing will just hit me really, really hard. So, yeah. But that was a good play for him to switch back into Registeel. I don't remember if here I go for another Leech Seed or if I just, from the looks of it, yeah, I do go for another Leech Seed, okay. I was wondering, do I go for Leech Seed? I think I should, like, in retrospect, I would definitely go for Leech Seed here, just because I want to get the damage off, even if he hits me with the Ice Punch. I feel like it doesn't hit me really, really hard. It doesn't even do that much damage with Seismic Toss, so that's actually good to know as well right there. That means that I could actually stall it out to red, and in the process I could just spam Giga Drain just to keep getting my HP back by Leech Seed, Black Sludge, not Sludge Wave, Black Sludge, and the Giga Drain damage. Like, I feel like all of that combined should be able to help me recover while it keeps hitting me with those Seismic Tosses. I'll still be losing damage, or I'll still be taking damage, but like it'll take him a while for him to take out my Rose Raid. And the goal is just to really force him out, honestly, so that he keeps switching around, because he still hasn't gotten rid of the hazards. Goes back into this thing, which is fine with me. I go for the Giga Drain, and then here I think I take advantage and try to go for a Sludge Bomb. The Giga Drain does nothing, obviously, because this is a fire type. But I believe here I go for another Sludge Bomb just to see if I can maybe 2-hit KO this thing. If I go for Leech Seed, oh okay, I go for Leech Seed again. This was a bad play, I think. He does stay in, and I do outspeed it, which is actually good to know. So it's not Scarf that, obviously. But now what I want to see is if I can 2-hit KO this thing with a Sludge Bomb. I'm hoping it stays asleep for another turn, and that way I can just take this out. But damn, this Sludge Bomb obviously did nothing. So, but with the Leech Seed, I should be able to take it out with another one. He stayed asleep as well with the Rotom, so I should be able to take out this Rotom, which is good. Oh, but for some reason I switch out. I don't know why. Maybe I forgot that I outsped the Rotom, and maybe because of that I freaking decided to choke and throw send out Lantern, because I think I could have just gone for. Oh, maybe he was gonna. I think I predicted him to switch out into Registeel again. I think that's why I didn't go for the Sludge Bomb, because he was probably gonna bring that back, honestly, expecting the Sludge Bomb. Okay, so never mind. It wasn't a bad play on my end. It was actually a good play for me to switch in Lantern, because Lantern can just scald this thing. If he switches out Landers as well, then it'll take damage as well. I think here I go for Volt Switch for whatever reason. I don't know why. I could just be going for the... I guess I expected him to switch out. I think this was where I actually messed up. I expected him to switch out. But there was really no need for me to go for that. I could have just scalded it, honestly. It might not have taken it out, but it would have definitely have, you know, put him in range, and I could have still kept attacking. Oh, it's because I think that's what happened. That's why I went for Volt Switch, because I think I expected the Toxic. Okay, there we go. So many plays that I keep thinking I made poorly here, but some of them were okay. Or at least were understandable as to why I did them. But, yeah. Okay, so I sent in Skarmory, obviously, but Skarmory can't do anything to this thing. That's the thing. I just send it in and go for Roost to keep it healthy, obviously. Maybe that's why I sent it in, just because I wanted to make sure this Skarmory was healthy for when the Landers came out, because it's looking like that Landers T is going to be his trump card, basically. And then here I think I go back into Lantern. It has to be Lantern, because Lantern can just simply scald this thing to death, and there's very little this thing can do. Well, except Toxic, obviously, but I'm trying to think, why would I send this in? Oh, it's because maybe I was expecting him to go for something else here. He does get the Toxic off, which yeah, I guess it makes sense. I think I should have Whirlwinded here instead of going for the switch into Lantern, because now this thing is Toxic. Here I wonder if I actually start going for Scalds now. Oh, I had the Heal Bell on this thing. Okay, never mind. I'm telling you, I need to be more observant of these moves. But yeah, it seems like I actually... Maybe that's why I wasn't too afraid of this this Lantern. Goes into this thing, which is fine with me. I just go for the Heal Bell to show him that I'm not afraid of that Toxic from Registeel. Okay, here I have to go for Volt Switch. Volt Switch into Rose Raid. I'm expecting, right here, I'm expecting to Volt Switch and go into Rose Raid. Oh no, I Toxic first. Maybe to scout if this thing is a Cleric and has the Heal Bell, which if it does, then I can just Volt Switch into Rose Raid or something. Get some chip damage and then threaten it with a Sludge Bomb, although I may or may not go for Leech Seed. I don't remember if I do that or not. Yeah, so he does have the heal bell, which is good to know, obviously, on this front. It's just to see what I'm up against here. He had the Moonblast as well, so that's his stab. I don't know what other moves it has. I don't think I even get to see those moves. I think here I just go for Scald, just to see how much I do damage-wise. And because I feel like this thing can't do anything to Lantern anyway. Just goes for the Wish, and then this is when I anticipated a Wish passing attempt here. And this can only mean one thing. I think here, because of that Wish, I think I go for the Volt Switch. So that if he chooses to switch out into something, I can kind of see what it is going to be. No, I go for the Scald still. Okay. Not exactly sure why, though. What was I expecting here? There has to be something here that I actually anticipated. But I don't think he'd send in the Registeel. Oh, was it the Registeel I was expecting? I think going for Volt Switch would have been the play. But maybe I was thinking Landorus would come in, and if I go for Scald, it would just recover its HP back. He does end up going into the Registeel though. Takes rocks damage, and I think the Scald unfortunately is not enough. I think I was hoping it would be enough though. But this does just nothing, honestly. I do get the burn though. Wish Pass has been applied. Does get a lot of HP back. I do get my HP back again, which is good to see. So much leftovers though, which is a little annoying. I think here I think at this point, because I'm tired of this this Registeel being annoying, I think I just go for a Volt Switch and try to go into something that can deal with it well. But I'm gonna see. I want to say I went into Heracross, but I'm not really sure if I did, especially because this thing is procced, and I don't know if I want to take it rocks damage and then seismic toss damage. But if I do that, then I probably was just desperate at this point and just wanted to see if I can get rid of that that Registeel. And from the looks of it, that seems to have been the case, because I actually end up sending out the Heracross, which is crazy. Seismic Tosser. But let me see what he does here. I think I have knockoff on this, and I think I tried going for it. I could be wrong though. Yeah, I do go for the knockoff. I think I wasn't expecting him to stay in, and he does end up switching out. I do end up getting rid of this Aromatisse, because I do have the Smart Strike, so. And if this thing had like a Steel Berry, I just knock it off now, but it was just leftovers anyways. I think that was already seen earlier, so. Now I just go for the Smart Strike to make sure this thing is gone. I am Guts boosted, so I'm confident I can take it out from here. So far it's looking pretty good. I took out, I think, already 2 or 3 of his mons right now. Let's see what else he's thinking of getting in. I forgot what his other mons were too, I'll be honest with you. Not sure if I actually kept them in mind in this match, but... Oh, he's gonna send out this Urshifu right now. Now, unfortunately with this Urshifu, I don't think I can really do much to it. Azumarill can, but it has to come in on a safe switch. Like, it cannot just be switched in, otherwise it'll take a lot of damage and then possibly get 2 or 3 hit KO'd. And with the rocks, there's a very good chance it might even be 2 hit KO'd, I don't know. Here I'm just contemplating, seeing what I should send in instead. Should I let this Heracross go down? Like, I'm thinking, should I sack it? Because I do kind of need it for the Registeel. But I decided to send in Skarmory instead, because I feel like Heracross can still be useful to at least take out the Registeel. If I at least get rid of the Registeel, then most likely I will not need it that much. Since Urshifu, I think, is naturally faster than Heracross, so that's why there was just no point. Goes for the close combat, which is fine with me. I think here's where I lose Skarmory though, because I don't have a lot of switch-ins to close combat on this thing. I was thinking of staying in here though. Oh, okay. I go into Dragapult making the riskiest of risky plays here by expecting him to be choice possibly. And I also think I also was faster than this thing. I could be wrong though. I don't remember what speed investments I put on this Dragapult, but I sent it in probably expecting the fighting type move to come in again. I am getting crippled by rocks though, which is annoying. Here, I believe he's forced to switch out. What I'm not sure is into what, because he has a lot of options still, unfortunately. I go for Thunderbolt, okay. Not sure what I was expecting though. Ball of Steel. I think for that I should have just gone for the Flamethrower, but I guess I was just not expecting it. This Registeel, I'll be honest with you, was the one thing that was actually surprisingly annoying for me. Especially since my Skarmory did not have Body Press. I think if I had Body Press on that Skarmory, dealing with this Registeel would have been a lot more easy. But I think the reason I got rid of it was because I didn't want to use it for, in order to possibly deal with Landersea. Like, I needed Drill Peck. I also needed Rocks in order to actually set them up, because I had a feeling he was going to bring Hazards as well. And just didn't end up working at the end of the day. Goes for Ice Punch, finishes me off, which is annoying. Actually, he doesn't, but he's close to at this point. So it's kind of like, there's just very little I can do at this point. I do want to finish off this this Registeel though, so I just stay in and finish it off. Hopefully this guy doesn't try to switch out, because even though he has the rocks on his end of the battle as well, or of the field, he's not taking rocks damage as much, and it's probably because he has a lot of leftovers on a lot of his Pokemon, so a lot of the rocks damage is just getting kind of negated. I always found it kind of like counterintuitive to actually like put leftovers on a lot of your mons, because you give away a lot of its offensive potential, but in this match it seemed to work out very well for him. I don't know. Here he's going to bring out the Urshifu again. I think this is what's going to tell me if he's Scarf or not, and it is, well actually it's not, I can't tell because he went for Aqua Jet, so might be choiced Aqua Jet, I don't know. I think this gives me the idea of sending in a Azumarill though, because if he's locked into Aqua Jet, I can probably just go for an attack. I think I was thinking between Azumarill and Roserade, but I think Azumarill was probably better. Here okay, it seems like I have the Belly Drum, but I don't think I'm able to go for it, unfortunately. Just because ultimately I'm not sure if this thing is actually choiced or not. It might actually, he might be bluffing the choice. But he does switch out, so maybe he was actually choiced. Goes into this thing, just to see what I go for. I go for the Play Rough, and I don't think it's enough to take it out. It's not, because it's that Rotom is super damn bulky. It's bulky on both defense and freaking special defense. Either that, or maybe it's just the resisted hits that allow it to take hits very well. I don't know. I go for the Aqua Jet myself though, just to, you know, get him out of here already. Took out 3 of his mons, it seems now, but I still need to take out 3 more. He has the Urshifu right now and the Landersea, and his last Pokemon is actually the Ivysaur, I think it was. Let me see, it might have been something else. Yeah, it's actually the Ivysaur, yeah. Oh, and you know what? I think I remember now. This Mon, I thought it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, but it actually kind of is. And I realized that here, I think, because that thing is kind of like, it's not fast, but it does have Chlorophyll. This is when it came to me, I think, when that this thing could have Chlorophyll. In fact, I think it was when I switched to Skarmory in, because I wanted to see if it would go for something like Sludge Bomb or even Giga Drain, which Skarmory resists both. It can't get hit in power, so I was thinking maybe it would be not a big of a deal. But this is where it came in. This is where it crossed my head that it was like it was gonna be Chlorophyll. He went for Sunny Day, which with Chlorophyll, Not only does this thing outspeed me, but turns out that this thing actually has Weather Ball, which is a fire type move if you use Sunny Day. Weather Ball is basically a move that actually becomes whatever type the weather suggests, basically. So if you set up Rain Dance, Weather Ball would be a water type move. If you set up Sandstorm, I think it becomes a rock type move. And if you actually go for the Sunny Day, it becomes obviously fire. If you set up Hail, it becomes ice as well. So basically all of that. And yeah, this is when I realized that I think I'm screwed here, because the sun also weakens the power of water type moves. So, and in Azumarill's case, this thing is a poison type, so Sludge Bomb can do damage actually. He does end up having the Weather Ball, as you can see, and I think this is when I freaking realized that I actually lose the whole match, because unless I can stall out the Sunny Day turns, which I kind of doubt, because I think this dude had like the Heat Rock in order to prolong the turns, but I was kind of hoping that he wouldn't have it. Here I tried going into Rosary, but I think I switch it out, just trying to see what if I can like mess around with him or something, like to kind of force him to go for different moves. Like here, if I send in Rosary threatening to go for a Sludge Bomb, maybe he just outspeeds me and goes for the Weather Ball. Maybe I should have stayed in and actually tried going for the Sludge Bomb here, actually, now that I think about it, instead of switching out. But I feel like the Weather Ball, because the Weather Ball power I think is only 50 base power. And with it being stab, I think it's only like 75 in power. And since Weather Ball is not stab on, what's it called, on Ivysaur, I think you put a... But that did a lot of damage, I don't know. But oh, actually, you know what? It probably would have killed, because honestly, even though it's not stab, it's still super effective, and it's boosted by the sun. So, because that's another thing you have to take into consideration, that it's 50 base power, but based on the weather, it's boosted by the weather effects. So, if it was hail, though, I think that's not the case, though. It's only for rain and light or sun, basically, that the stats are boosted and whatnot, or whatever like water or fire type move you go for. It's boosted in their respective weathers. But yeah, here I go for Skull. I think I tried going for Skull just to see if I can get the burn and just cripple the Ivysaur down. Here I was basically lost from the looks of it, because I actually didn't know what to do. Actually, I was in a huge encrucijado here, because I was like, I just didn't know what to do at this point. This thing had coverage for literally everything I had. Has Sludge Bomb for the Azumarill, has Weather Ball for anything that like for like Roserade, and even the Heracross. And with the sunlight, it does outspeed. I think here's where I stay in and just try to go for Sludge Bomb, but it's not gonna do much. I think he does go for Sludge Bomb, so. But it's unfortunately enough to take me out. The sunlight is gone now, but I think I had to lose like a couple mons in order for that to happen. Send out Heracross here. I think here I'm trying to believe that I can outspeed it and take this thing out before I go down. I go for the knockoff to see what item this thing has, because I'm actually curious. But he doesn't end up letting me see that. He's going to go into Landers team. I think here I just sack, what's it called, the Heracross, because I don't think I can really do much with it now that it's crippled, so I could just go for the damage. Knock off the leftovers, and then just go down to whatever the heck he goes for here. Unless I try to play the funny card and actually switch out. But I don't think there's any point in that, because if he goes for Earthquake and I send in a Azumarill, then I'm just screwed, so. I just stay in and just lose the Heracross. Yeah, and I did the right thing, because he does go for Earthquake. I don't have Skarm anymore. Here, okay, so these are my last 2 months. Azumarill. I think here I made a play that might have saved me had I gone for it, I think. I could be wrong though. Maybe not, because I think Landers Tea is actually really powerful. It's because I was thinking that maybe I could have gone for the belly drum here, taken Earthquake, because I do think I had like, I think I had leftovers. I don't remember what items I had on this Azumarill. Might have been leftovers though. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, this was the play, yeah. I should have actually went for the belly drum right there, because he might have stayed in an Earthquake and then I would not have been able to do anything. But if he switched out, which he did, I could have been at +6 and then spam Aqua Jet. And then possibly take out the Ivysaur. But I ended up not doing that. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. And then I switch out here because I actually don't know why I switched out, actually. Maybe because I was expecting Poison Jab. But he ends up just going for the close combat, so here I just end up throwing big time then. I think here I end up throwing big time. But I think that's basically what happened. Like, that came from getting tilted from the fact that I could have gone for the belly drum when he switched out the Landers Tea. But I was actually expecting him to go for the Earthquake. It seemed logical, because I felt like the Ivysaur could have taken care of the Azumarill. But he ended up switching out, and I ended up not predicting, basically. And even though I got the belly drum then, I was anticipating a Poison Jab, and I switched because of it, and as a result, he basically won because he ended up just playing it safe, which is kind of crazy. I go for the belly drum again because that's literally all I can do. And then here I was just hoping I could maybe take it out with an Aqua Jet at +6. But that didn't end up happening, which sucks. That's what happens sometimes. But yeah, I do end up losing this, and I think it was like a 3-0. It's crazy how, like, it should be noted that I think from here on out, I just end up getting cucked by a lot of Grass-type Pokemon. I seem to have underestimated Grass-type Pokemon all this time in this game. Because I think those were, like, the mons I was losing to a lot in this later half of the league, or of the season. Also, I don't know if it's me, but this is the second time Scoots beats me in Sword and Shield. I'm wondering if he's actually... I wonder if being in the Galar region has a lot to do with him having that territorial advantage. Because, yeah, for those who don't know, Scoots is actually a guy from overseas, specifically the United Kingdom. So it's kind of interesting to see that now he's, like, getting a lot of advantage here in this game. But anyways, in real talk, he actually did pretty well and actually prepared very well for this match. On the other hand, I don't think I did very well preparing. Actually, I think I did. I just misplayed a lot, so I don't know what to tell you, honestly. It is what it is. Anyways, that's going to be week 8 for this PAC League. Stay tuned for, I believe, week 9, whenever we get to it. Just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.